All right, welcome to Good Day Chicago in our 9 o'clock hour, everyone. Thursday morning. We are getting there, everybody. Here's a look at some of the things that we are going to be following in this hour.
We all know nobody does food like Chicago. And this morning, we're talking to the author of a new book that breaks down the history of dining in the Chicago way.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah, this should be great.
Yeah.
Plus, these are not your everyday vending machines. Good Things Vending is joining us to talk about why their machines are so unique and also where you can find them.
Absolutely love the concept, and we have our eyes in the skies thanks to our drone team. Just take this in, everybody. Doesn't that give you a moment of zen? Yes.
I can appreciate this vision of snow.
You're like without being inside looking at it.
Yeah.
But Jake is out there, and he's going to be back with us to give us a preview of the Lake Geneva Winterfest and the amazing snow sculpting that's happening throughout the weekend. I hear this gets very technical.
It does. And remember last year they had to put that on the kibosh because it was too warm. There wasn't any snow out there to do it.
We're definitely not having that issue.
No.
This year, as we check in with Caitlin for a look at the forecast, and we got snow and we even got ice there on Lake Michigan.
That's right. Temperatures cold today. Main headline, though, as we get into the next couple of days, is going to be that snow that is going to be returning. Lake effect snow bands will be setting up, especially for Northwest Indiana as we get into this weekend. So talking about this morning, it's quiet. We do have a little bit of blue showing up in northern portions of Lake and Porter, LaPorte County, Berrien County. It's not out of the question that you see a flurry or two, but today the main headline is going to be the temperature. Very similar conditions to yesterday. Right now we're sitting at 5 degrees is the actual temperature from the lakefront to O'Hare to Midway, 8 degrees in Joliet. Northwest Indiana temperatures for you around 4 to 8 degrees. Feeling like we could be at 8 degrees below zero at O'Hare, 12 degrees below zero in Waukegan, 6 below zero at the lakefront. You know the drill. It's going to be brutally, dangerously cold again today. But let's talk about that snow, because our futurecast will show throughout the day today it's quiet, but not until tonight we're going to have that chance for snow develop. You can see this is 2 a.m. Temperatures are in the single digits, and we're starting to see that lake effect band develop near Michigan City. For Chicago, stop the timeline here at 7:30 because it's starting to approach. So between about 7 and 8, our model is bringing that snow into Chicago. Temperatures tomorrow, they're going to be chilly, back to the mid and upper teens, but that lake effect snow band within it, you can see how dark blue it is. We expect fluffy snowfall, drops in visibility, quick accumulations, 1 to 2 inches per hour. And then as we get on into Friday night and Saturday, as mentioned, it's really going to be focused near the lake from Chicago into Northwest Indiana. And with that, we could see more than 6 inches of snowfall possible. We have a winter storm alert to tell you about. Winter storm watch from Lake to Porter County starting Friday afternoon all the way through most of Saturday. Saturday evening is when that expires. But our 7-day forecast does show temperatures in the 20s, so at least it's going to be a little more comfortable. Maybe you want to go sledding on Saturday. 23 degrees, you could do that. 26 on Sunday, even better. Then we're seeing the 30s return early next week, Monday through Wednesday. Low 30s are expected, which is where we should be for this time of year. Chance for snow is back Tuesday night into Wednesday. So in the meantime, today it's going to be cold but quiet with that lake effect snow setting up tonight, tomorrow, and on Saturday. Back to you.
Brian is over here cheering like it's Super Bowl Sunday for that 31. Yeah.
It's been cold.
31,
It's been cold.
31. We do have some breaking news to get to, everybody. This is about a water main break in Dixmoor, thinking about the cold temperatures out there, Mike.
Yeah, the village president says the water main break is at 146th and Sealy Avenue. Surrounding homes have temporarily lost water, and 2 schools in the area, Rosa L. Parks Middle School and Martin Luther King Elementary School, they're both closed because of this water main break. There's no word on when that is going to be fixed. And of course, that's just, you know, in these temperatures, that's going to turn into an icy mess too.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, a court hearing is currently underway right now in the murder of 30-year-old Eliza Morales.
Has to be one of the most disturbing stories of the day by far. She was 5 months pregnant when she was stabbed multiple times, somewhere around 70 times. Court documents say 19-year-old Natus Revutkas stabbed Morales so many times and then set her home on fire. Prosecutors say Revutkas and Morales connected on Facebook Marketplace and eventually met in person to finalize a truck sale in the 2300 block of Ogden Avenue. Now, Revutkas initially denied being involved, then later confessed to killing her. Morales was still alive when the fire was started, tried to escape. Prosecutors say the unborn child she was carrying died due to the mother's injuries.
She fought for her life. She was ultimately stabbed to death. The apartment was lit on fire, and she bled out and she burned. with a baby inside of her. Pure evil.
We did say it was disturbing. Ravutkas is in court right now. We are expecting to hear from prosecutors and a live press conference after court, so that could be any minute. We're going to bring that to you live just as soon as it happens.
Meantime, the former Sangamon County deputy convicted in the shooting death of Sonia Massey is being sentenced right now. A jury found Sean Grayson guilty of second-degree murder back in October. In July of 2024, Massey called police to report a prowler. Grayson shot and killed her after he says that he thought that she was going to throw a pot of boiling water at him. And this morning, we're seeing a new video of a confrontation between slain protester Alex Preddy and ICE agents more than a week before he was shot and killed in Minneapolis.
All right, so let's take a look. This is part of that new video. It was shared by the News Movement. Video shows Preddy yelling at those officers, chasing the vehicle, and actually kicking out the taillight of the vehicle. He was later taken down forcibly by officers, and after he got up, the video appears to show a gun in his waistband. The Department of Homeland Security says it is reviewing this video. The Preddy family attorney says the video does not justify the shooting that occurred 11 days later. Registered nurses came together in the Near West Side to hold a peaceful vigil in honor of Alex Preddy. This is video from the gathering at the Jesse Brown VA Medical Center on Wednesday. Preddy was an ICU nurse at the Minneapolis VA Medical Center. Hospital workers say he was doing his job and caring for others in his final moments.
In the face of cruelty, Alex stood up for his community. In the words of his father, for Alex, protest was an act of care.
The two federal agents who shot and killed Alex Preddy are now on administrative leave. The nurses are calling on Congress to vote to abolish ICE.
Yeah, he was a licensed gun owner, so he had that on him quite frequently. President Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, is in Minnesota as tension continues over immigration enforcement there as a result of the last two killings of people in that area. Earlier this morning, he gave an update on the situation.
In my meetings with folks so far, and most important, the governor and the AG, the Mayor Fry, we didn't agree on everything. I didn't expect to agree on anything. I've heard many people want to know why we're talking to people who they don't consider friends in administration. Bottom line is you can't fix problems if you don't have discussions. I didn't come to Minnesota for photo ops or headlines. You haven't seen me. I came here to seek solutions.
Homan was called into Minnesota after federal agents shot and killed Alex Preddy. So we're going to continue to watch. There are many different angles to that story that are still unfolding right now. This morning, lawmakers on Capitol Hill could end up blocking legislation to fund the Department of Homeland Security.
Senate Democrats are demanding that Republicans and the White House agree to new restrictions on immigration enforcement agents. They're calling for a code of conduct so that agents can be held accountable if they violate rules. That includes requiring officers to take off their mask, identify themselves, and obtain warrants for arrest. And if those demands are not met, Democrats say that they're prepared to block the wide-ranging spending bill, denying Republicans the votes they need to pass it, which would trigger a shutdown at midnight. Back here at home, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is urging for cities to take steps to hold immigration agents accountable for criminal conduct. During a speech at the National Press Club on Wednesday, he said that he's preparing Chicago for future prosecution of Border Patrol Commander Gregory Bavino.
This is not about politics. This is about a more fundamental idea that in our country, nobody is above the law.
Bavino led Operation Midway Blitz, which led to the detentions of more than 4,000 people across Chicagoland.
Meantime, U.S. Senator Amy Klobuchar just announced she's running for Minnesota governor. Klobuchar is a Democrat and has held the Senate seat since 2007. She is promising to take on President Donald Trump while unifying that state. Current Governor Tim Walz, as you'll recall, announced recently he is not going to seek another term.
An update now on developing news. We've learned more about the crash involving a mail truck on I-65 this morning. So Sky Fox was over the scene just in the last hour. Look at this, a mess, really. The truck crashed on I-65 on the exit ramp from northbound I-65 to eastbound I-80, 94. Indiana State Police say the trailer was loaded with mail, split open when it crashed. No word on what caused the crash. The exit ramp is expected to be closed, though, for another 3 to 4 hours. So heads up, you definitely want to take another route or a detour. People in Northwest Indiana are fed up with skyrocketing utility bills. I think each email we get gets worse, you know? Viewers sent us their recent bill, and it was almost $900.
That's incredible. Another man we spoke with says that his went from $120 in November to $500 last month. He says his family moved to Indiana to save money. Hear a lot of people doing that, but now they're considering moving back to Illinois.
At this point, anything counts. I'm trying to work as much hours as I can, and trying to catch up it's stressful. It's stressful. And it feels like I'm not really getting any time to actually like be myself, because it's always stress about the bills, the food, just anything money-wise. That's all my brain is on now.
We have reached out to NIPSCO for comment. Still, we haven't heard back. Next Wednesday, customers are planning a protest outside of the company's headquarters, the same day that the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission is holding a hearing about NIPSCO's billing practices.
Indiana is another step closer in getting the Chicago Bears to move over state lines. Senate lawmakers there just passed a bill that sets up the money side of building a stadium in Northwest Indiana. The Northwest Indiana Stadium Authority, say that 3 times, would be responsible for paying for an NFL stadium. The bill does still need to pass the House and get signed by Governor Mike Braun. That's almost a certainty, don't you?
Yes. And as we head to break, we want to remind you that there's still an opportunity to participate in the Chicago Bears 37th annual coat drive.
Still going strong. The Bears, along with Jewel Osco, the Salvation Army, and Sureway Movers are asking for your coat donations. Just drop them off at participating Jewel Osco now through February 16th. You can find more information online at chicagobears.com/coat drive. 9:12, we're back after this.
The greatest $10,000 beds of all time.
(9:14). Looking at Michigan and Lake, and you still see plenty of salt on the road. Tomorrow at this time, there may be some additional snow at that intersection as lake effect is moving in. I'll have your forecast here in a little bit. Let's talk food. It's a book It was more than 50 years in the making, and now the Chicago Way, an oral history of Chicago dining, is officially available for you to check out. And during Chicago Restaurant Week, perfect timing here this morning, the author, Michael Gebert, is joining us in studio to tell us a little bit more. Michael, thanks for coming in this morning.
Well, thank you for
You've
having
got
me.
the book there right in your hands there. What inspired you to write this book? I mean, you told me here off camera that you kind of been involved in food journalism for some time.
Yeah, for about 20 years. It's actually the publisher had done a book like this about Chicago theater and thought, well, food's another subject that Chicago was really strong in about the same time, of course. And so, you know, invited me to do it. And when a publisher says they want to do a book, it's probably a good idea to say yes.
To go through with that program.
Yeah.
All right, so in your opinion and in your research, what makes Chicago's food scene stand out, especially compared with New York or Los Angeles or Dallas? The Chicago Way, what is it?
You know, I think there's just a lot of creativity at every level of the food scene. I mean, pizza places and Italian beef, I mean, they're often trying new things. And then we get all the way up to, you know, fancy avant-garde restaurants and things like that. So there's just, it's an area where people are very creative. It's an area that people care about. So that made it, you know, fun to write about. How did it happen? You know, as a food writer, I often hear from editors from somewhere else. They'll say, you know, I know it's a steak and potatoes town. And it's like, yeah, 50 years ago. You know, it's a very creative town, obviously. And that was just fun to write about.
Now, you started writing this book at kind of an inopportune time for a lot of the folks that you were going to talk to.
Yeah, no, I signed the contract for it right as people were saying, hey, have you heard about this virus from China? So I was ready to do the book, but I didn't know if people would really want to talk to me. And I kind of started with the people whose restaurants were long gone, because I figure they were the least bothered by what was going on.
Right. We've already pulled it up.
Yeah. So, you know, I talked to a lot of them. And also, I mean, with an oral history, you want to talk to the oldest people who are still around for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
And so,
well, let me interrupt you there. Who are some of the old timers that maybe stand out in your memory as having some of the best stories in your book?
You know, the one that I wanted to make sure I got, and, you know, apparently, you know, he's doing fine, he's still around, was Gordon Sinclair.
Okay.
Gordon had Gordon's, which was really the first kind of trendy, you know, to some extent New York style restaurant in River North. And it was, you know, the place to dine and be seen in the late 70s and 80s. So, you know, he was one of the first ones I wanted to talk to. And, you know, other people who are still around in the business, you know, had worked there, like Carrie Nahabedian, who has Brandi now, had Naha for many years. Naha took over the space that Gordon had been in. So, you know, it was just finding people. If the chefs themselves were gone, a lot of them I talked to their widows. If, you know, everybody's gone, you could still find people who had worked there when they were kids. And so there were people to tell those stories.
If you had to resurrect maybe one of these closed restaurants, I mean, you mentioned Gordon there, which one would you choose to reopen of the ones that kind of vanished from the scene? If you got like one, God, I really wish that was back.
You know,
or maybe two.
Maybe two. It's a little hard because I think the food would seem the least impressive to us, because if it was good and well acclaimed then it got copied a bunch.
Sure.
So people eat that stuff without knowing where it comes from a lot of times. But I think, you know, there are places like I went to with my wife when I first moved here. I went to a place called Le Perroquet that was a very fancy French restaurant. And it was just, I felt like I was being taken out by my 80-year-old grandmother when I went there. I mean, it was this sort of charming, not quite real place. And I talk a lot in the book about Jovan Trbojevic, who was the owner of Le Perroquet. So that's one. I mean, I just love to see that again.
All right. Well, maybe somebody would like to, you know, co-invest with you, Michael, when you open that place. All right. Very quickly, where can we get a copy of that book?
All bookstores. Support your independent bookstores. Go look for it. The Chicago Way should be out and about. Officially out on Tuesday.
Okay.
So
this is a pre-release copy right here,
right,
in color. All right, Michael, thanks for coming in here this morning.
Thank you.
Good luck. Let's hope that that's a bestseller here for you.
Well, thank you.
Outstanding. All right, we are going to be right back with more of Good Day after this.
Enter for your chance.
Parenting is tough, but a common problem that goes along with it is ruining relationships. When men feel parented by their partners, they are less likely to be interested in intimacy. And women who feel parented suffer a loss of physical and emotional connection. So here to break down the dynamic and give us some tips on how to fix it is counselor and relationship expert Love McPherson. We are calling this the parenting trap.
Yeah, the parenting trap. It is absolutely a trap for a lot of couples because they're stuck in it, and sometimes it goes way far back.
When does it begin usually, and what are some of the signs?
So a lot of times it actually manifests through the childhood issues. Sometimes it's a trauma response because maybe that child was a parentified child where they had to step up as a parent. Sometimes it's spousification where a parent was absent and they were the emotional and the parent. Sometimes it's a self-worth issue where the self-worth of a person feels like, I don't feel that I have the glue to be always wanted, so I will enter into a codependent relationship where I feel needed.
Interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
so this doesn't just stem or come in couples where they have kids at home. There's deep-seated issues here. So where do couples go from here? Like, let's start with, if you feel like you're being parented by your spouse, how can you bring that up?
So the first place I would strongly suggest you go is to a counselor, okay?
Yes.
So that would be ideal in a perfect world because they can go to the deep-seated issue. It could be something as simple as I was controlled by a mom, a controlling mom, and so this is really a dynamic that feels comfortable to me. However, it's wearing on the couple. So the first thing that you have to do, if you're not at a counselor, you have to start with exposing the problem and not just the parent. Okay, so for instance, you could say, instead of saying, you always forget things, I always have to remind you, instead of putting that person on defense, because the person who is more of the child role will feel I am being scolded by my mom or I'm being scolded by my dad. So defensiveness will set up. Instead, you might say, we have fallen into a parent-child pattern. You identify the pattern, not in, you know what I'm saying, expose
Not attacking the person necessarily.
Yeah, and you begin to talk about that and that issue, and that results in less defensiveness. Another thing that you want to do after identifying what has happened, then you begin to, instead of being a controlling person, you want to enter into agreements. You want to say, hey, what am I responsible for? What are you responsible for? Now, in a perfect world, they'll just say, oh, I'll take it up. But usually because it's a more deeper issue, that pattern has to break. The habit, the convenience of that pattern has to break. And so you have to have patience during the process of the growth, okay? Otherwise, you will still feel frustrated and lack of intimacy, by the way. The third thing is you have to move into adult relationship. Adults should have relationships. Adults should have marriages, not child and adult. That's not what we do. And so everybody has to grow up, and those are some of the things that you want to do.
Well, and I think this is an important time. Like if you feel like maybe, okay, I might connect with this issue, to examine your relationship and see, am I seeing these patterns? And is there something maybe that's an easy fix, might take some time, but it is a fix.
Start a little piece, one piece at a time.
Okay.
So if you are giving too much, like the dynamics in the relationship is that you're carrying the full weight of the budget and you're carrying the full weight of saying, hey, why did you spend on that? And, you know, all the let's just start small. You might give an allowance or, you know, yeah, I mean, if you have to, because you're trying to protect the finances. If things are getting out of control, and say, hey, let's get this budget, and I'm saying like that allowance, but this is what we will allow for your spending.
I see.
Give it into that. And then what you want to do is make sure that this, we agree. Now, this is all an agreement that we come to for the betterment of the couple, not just you or me.
Okay.
For the betterment of the couple, you agree on different little spaces where you have seen the problem manifest.
All right.
Yeah.
Those good advice. Thank you so much, love. We just look at her necklace. She is ready for Valentine's Day.
Yes, I am.
She is ready to help you fix your relationship. We'll be right back.
Stream good.
.929, we have sunshine out there. That's kind of pretty. I mean, really, as long as you're inside looking at it, right? We've got a little bit of ice there on the river. There's ice on the lake. You probably have plenty of salt on your car. And there's more snow on the way. But not today. Today we're going to see a good deal of sunshine, but not much good it's going to do temperature-wise. And the real forecast focus here is not so much on the cold. It's on the snow. We're waiting on it. Lake effect snow starts in northeast Illinois tomorrow morning. Snow band is going to slide south during the day, and as it does so, it will impact travel at least briefly as it happens. The heaviest snow, I think, is going to target northwest Indiana tomorrow night with lighter snowfall, lake effect snow continuing on Saturday, and not just in northwest Indiana. Current temps, 5-ish. Got only 1 at Woodstock, but it's 7 at Gary, 8 Valparaiso. A couple of flurries around Michigan City. The infancy of the lake effect. Wind chills pretty much area-wide, still below 0. Feels like 8 below at O'Hare, 9 below at Aurora, Waukegan. Some of the worst of it with a -12 wind chill. So, some very light snow falling Michiana, the western shore of Michigan. That's not going to impact Chicagoland today. But watch what happens overnight. We start to assemble that lake effect snow, and it moves in here tomorrow morning. And then look how far inland that lake effect snow. It may snow lake effect technically all the way to around Peoria. Then a new band of snow is going to slide south along the lakeshore and inland, and then eventually start to point into northwest Indiana tomorrow night. And that's when some of the heaviest snow will occur. But there's a chance that that snow comes back west to the Illinois side on Saturday morning. It will be weakening, but it will continue that snow probably through midday. Today, no snow, just cold. 16, mostly sunny skies. Northwest winds about 5 to 15. Tonight, clear early, then some cloud cover coming in late. Nearly full moon out there. Cold again with a low of 4. Then we get into that lake effect snow tomorrow and Saturday. Could be a few spots, especially northwest Indiana, to get 6+ out of this thing. Temperatures at least getting out of the deep freeze. We may even get a 30 in here next week. Chance for some light snow Sunday night and Monday, and again on Wednesday. Let's take a look at a very lovely photo here. The old barn in Joliet. That's a pretty scene there. Randy Bearden gives us a look at that. Love the red side there and the tin on the roof. And a second photo. Maybe. Yes, here it is. Sunshine in Porter, Indiana. This one from Greg Markey, another one of our frequent contributors there. That is a pretty, I like how you edited that one there, Greg. Thank you both for sharing your photos. Brian?
All right, time is now 9:31 this morning. This vending machine at Chicago and State Stop on the CT has been making the rounds on social media. But we're not talking about just your everyday vending machine where you get like all your snacks. Good Things Vending has been installing some very unique vending machines all across Chicago. This morning we're visiting them at one of Chicago's most popular spots, the Garfield Park Conservatory. Steph Krimp, the founder of Good Things Vending, thanks so much for being here with us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
I want to start with, where did you first get the idea of Good Things Vending?
You know, I think that it was inspired by the creative community in Chicago. I had been here for a few years and seen the amazing output from that community here, and was just trying to find ways to participate, and just the right Google led me to a picture of a full-size snack vending machine, and it hit me that automation is here and that maybe I could get a little playful with it.
So obviously we're not talking about your Reese's, your Snickers, and your pretzels here. What kind of items are you actually stacking in this vending machine, and what makes it so unique?
So there's a combination of items. Really the beating heart of the project is the local artist goods. They could be things like stickers, patches, locally made greeting cards. So those are our main bread and butter. And then we also have location-specific items. So you mentioned the Chicago Red Line project. We're doing some collabs with the CTA, which is exciting and new. And then we also do some practical items and some vintage and nostalgia stuff. Kind of anything that fits, we'll vend.
And you mentioned collaborating with some artists. How is this in terms of exposure for them, getting more people, especially in these like highly populated areas like Riding the L? How does this kind of give some more exposure so that their art can find the right person?
I think that there's a lot of ways that art is already imbued into the city. I think the Garfield Park Conservatory is a great example. They have a long history of working with artists, and this was a chance to create a really accessible way for the audience that's moving through the space to maybe take some of that home with them. It's everything in the machine is $25 and under, and it's really meant to have something for everybody in there. So I think the goal was to emphasize accessibility, that we can collect art, we can buy art from our neighbors, and that it really is hidden around every corner.
And he said that these vending machines are kind of based on where they're located. So what kind of research are you doing to figure out what would work in each location?
Most of the research is happening on the person-to-person level. We're talking to the team who works at the place, like here at the Garfield Park Conservatory. We're talking to the folks who are here all day long, watching people move throughout the space and know best like what the people who hang out here would be into. And then we learn a lot from doing. So we tend to launch machines in collaboration with the location. And then over the next few months, we really work to cull them to be the right products for the audience based off of what folks are excited about.
So about how many vending machines currently exist and what does the future look like?
There's currently 10 machines, and right now we're focused on this CTA collab. We have a few more machines in the works for this year, but the CTA collab and some of these local artist collaborative products that are going to both be in the machine and on our website feels like such a cool opportunity to reinterpret the CTA classic branding through the lens of some really capable local talent.
Now, we know we have viewers from all over Chicagoland. If they're wanting to find one of your locations, I know you're at Garfield Park right now, where can our viewers find that information?
Well, you can find all that info at goodthingsvending.com. That has a list of all of our locations, along with tons of info about the artists that we've had in the fleet so far. And then also you can come to any one of the machines and there's like a QR code that will give you info about just the general fleet.
All right, Steph Grimm, thanks so much for your time, and we're looking forward to more good things from Good Things Vending. Thanks again.
Thank you.
All right, time is now 9:35. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back here on Good Day Chicago.
First.
All right, everyone, giving you a live look outside right now. Not too much activity out there at the Bean. Let me just go ahead and let you know, we may have to break into this next interview for breaking news. We are starting to get some updates from the courtroom from Roseanne on the man who is accused of stabbing and killing a woman, a pregnant woman, down in Downers Grove. As you can see there, the room is set. They are getting ready for a press conference with the prosecutors just as soon as they step out of court. But he has been denied pretrial release, and his arraignment is set set for February 18th. So just as soon as that begins, we'll get more details from the prosecutors there. Now, Valentine's Day, of course, right around the corner. And whether you are planning to find a restaurant to enjoy, or maybe you're spending a romantic night in with your partner, whatever you choose, we've got you covered. Chef Fabio Viviani is joining us this morning to walk us through a delicious Italian-style dish for Valentine's Day. He's in the kitchen cooking it up. Good morning to you.
Good morning, everybody. Happy soon-to-be Valentine's.
Now, tell us what you're making there. We know it's going to be good, and I wish we had smell-o-vision, but tell us what's going on in the kitchen.
So, unfortunately, there is no smell-o-vision today, and I will be the one tasting it. But for your viewing pleasure, tonight we are making a beet risotto with shrimp, poached shrimp, and a bunch of Valentine's Day fixing on it. A bacon breadcrumb, little bit Parmesan frico, as well as some fresh basil. The rice has a beautiful red color, the color of passion. And if you want to eat a delightful dish, you should make your reservation for Valentine's Day at Giostra in Barrington here at the Arboretum.
Now,
so
Chef,
now,
tell me what was the inspiration here? Why do we go to this for Valentine's?
So the inspiration is that risotto is very shareable. It's 1,000 little things of something. Then we make it creamy with Parmesan. It's sexy, it's red, it's delicious, it's smooth. It has beautiful poached shrimp on it, and it's perfect for sharing. Although Valentine's Day, you gotta make your loved one happy, so you might have to order two, because this is not the dish that you're gonna wanna share. Sharing is caring though, Chef. Yeah, but sometimes, you know, it's like when your girlfriend is not hungry and she eat all your fries and half of your dish. Just order your portion. You can't be selfish for Valentine's too. Trust me, you do not want to have to share this dish. So now let's plate it. A beautiful risotto has to be creamy. If it's a brick, if it's not creamy, doesn't work.
Chef, I don't know if I can recreate that at home. We might have to get out to Giostra.
Oh, you don't have to. You have to come to Giostra, or you marry a chef and he's gonna make it for you.
There you go. Much better option there. Either works though. Either works. It looks fantastic.
So these are lightly poached shrimp, poached in butter, so they stay nice and tender, very juicy. There. Then we have a little bit of frico for texture. You easily do these with cheese. You can do it with Parmesan. You can do it with cheddar. You can do it with, other hard cheeses. And then the final touch, we have a little bit of herb breadcrumb with a little bit of bacon in a pancetta. Really,
I love all the colors coming together.
To be, when it dies and go to heaven. Look at that. Little cheese on it. And now you have a killer dish for the sweetest day of the year.
For the sweetest day of the year.
Valentine's Day, everybody.
And you did that right in time. I'm getting the wrap just you're such a pro, Chef. We always love having you on the show. It looks
We're professional
fantastic.
here. We don't mess around.
Giostra's
God bless
down
you
in
guys.
South
Happy
Barrington.
Valentine's. We'll see you at Giostra.
Thank you, Steph. We appreciate it, everybody. Let's get ready for Valentine's. Jake, take it away.
All right, guys, it is a block of snow that's about to be turned into a work of art. Take a look at this. We're going to bring you a preview of the Lake Geneva Winterfest and America's Snow Sculpting Invitational when we come back.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan.
All right, everybody, 9:46 right now. Get your gloves, get your snow boots ready, you know, and take in winter at its most beautiful. The Lake Geneva Winterfest is officially underway.
And with it comes America's Snow Sculpting Invitational.
Jake and our drone rangers, they are out all morning giving us a special preview of the fun there just north of the Cheddar Curtain. Jake, the sun is out there. Have you got, you know, maybe a chisel and something there? You ready to take a stab at this?
Always, guys. You know, Anita said it best. Take in winter. Yesterday, we were at the boat show talking about let's dream of the summer, but let's slow down for a minute. Let's remember the beauty that winter can bring, particularly in our area. And that's why we want to bring you a preview of the Lake Geneva Winterfest and America's Snow Sculpting Invitational. These are 10-foot blocks of snow that 15 different teams, really from around the world, are going to be turning into pieces of art, really, over the next couple of days. And one of the people that's doing that, Kelly Madison, the captain of the Illinois sculpting team, Cave People from Space. Kelly, good morning.
Good morning. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Let's take a look at this block of snow. This started as a 10-foot block of snow, yesterday? And where do you even begin when sculpting something like this?
Well, everyone has their own methods. For us, you get out here, the city put together all the blocks, packed the snow in here, and then open up the block molds, and then we get at it. We start with the grid.
Okay, so you talked about like the snow being packed in. This is, can I touch it?
Yes.
This is very packed in snow. How does that work exactly?
This is thanks to the teams that go ahead and stomp all the snow. So basically they take the mold and they blow the man-made snow into it and pack it down, stomping it flatter and flatter and flatter in layers until they reach the top of the mold.
Can we talk about some of the tools that you guys use to kind of chisel down to the like how will this work exactly? And you guys have saws too.
Yeah, so a lot of the best tools we have are aluminum. Aluminum cuts through snow without it sticking. If you look at this tool, this is a piece of wire with some brads just pressed alongside of it. We've added some wooden handles. Some of the teams have improvised how they want to do that. This is kind of like barbed wire.
Wow. And then I saw you guys working with Now, how do you guys decide what it is that you're going to carve? Because, you know, they always say, you know, like with a block of stone, the sculpture's inside. You just have to remove everything else.
I would say for Team Illinois, we definitely love a good pun, we love a good joke, but at the same time, we like books and literary devices.
Yes.
This is based on Stephen King's Dark Tower.
No!
Yes.
He's my favorite author. I love the Dark Tower.
We've got our Roland-esque figure, and our title is Good Oi. And Oi is the character of the kind of dog-like creature in the story. So we're going with some literary references this year.
Do you have an image of what it's actually going to look like? All right, we're going to go over here.
Our 3D model.
No way.
We have our cowboy sitting with our dog in the front, having some food.
Here, come bring it over here so you can see it.
So we've got our model. He's ready to go. We're just trying to find where the top of that cowboy hat is going to begin.
I've got to tell you, as a massive Stephen King fan, that is pretty. I mean, it feels like we're in The Shining, but we're doing the Dark Tower today, which I love. So somewhere in that block of snow is this. Now, the team. There are 15 teams from around the world. What, 3 people a team?
Yes, each team gets 3 members.
Okay, and you guys are going to be working extensively. You started, yesterday? How long do you get to do this?
So there is no cutoff at night, so some teams work all night. Last night, I think some people stayed up to around 11.
Wow.
Tonight, probably past midnight. Friday's the long haul. Some teams like to stay up all night. Other teams will take a little break and then re-hit it again. It's Saturday at 11 is tools down.
That tools down. So that's your deadline. So do you have a pretty good idea of like timing wise? Okay, we're this far along, so we're doing okay. Or oh my God, we're falling behind.
Yeah. So we kind of look at it in a block method.
Oh, look at this. This is cool.
So if you notice, right now this is kind of where we're at.
Here, come bring it a little closer.
We look in kind of cubes and blocks first, and then we'll whittle it down so it's kind of a blocky form.
That is unbelievable. Okay, so when you're talking about, obviously, listen, it's cold right now, but it's almost 10 o'clock in the morning, and the sun's out and the sky's blue. When you guys are working into 11 o'clock at night, what kind of temperatures are you talking about out here?
So luckily, this is kind of what you want.
Really?
In past years, it's been pretty balmy, so it gets pretty smushy, and then it freezes up at night, making it hard to sculpt. Right now, this is what you want tonight. I do believe if I looked, it's around like real feel -10-ish.
Wow.
It'll be chilly, but it'll be good for cutting this.
I love it. -10. That's chilly.
I know.
You know.
This type of sun, I'm already sweating out here. I know everyone's just trying to cut some more snow.
Kelly Madison, this is incredible. I know you have a very busy couple of days ahead. I appreciate you taking the time, and well done on the Stephen King reference. Well done. All right, guys, it is the Lake Geneva Winterfest and America's Snow Sculpting Invitational here through, well, she said tools down Saturday. If you come out on Sunday, you can see all 15 sculptures. You can see sort of a lot of them kind of working in the distance. They'll all be done on Sunday, and because of those cold temperatures, they'll be here for a little bit, basically till they melt. It really is incredible to think that inside all of these blocks of snow, the sculpture's in there. It's alive in there. You just gotta remove everything else. Here, I'll help him. I'm gonna help him a little bit. There you go.
All
there
right.
you go. Now I'm part of the team.
Thank you, Jake.
Good job.
We got to make our way out there. We did mention that we were following breaking news, though, everybody. Want to get to that now.
Yes, police in DuPage County.
Revutkas stabbed Eliza Morales, allegedly. 5 months pregnant. They're speaking
This
about
morning,
it now.
in first appearance court, the defendant, Nidis Revutkas, age 19, appeared in front of Josh Deedon on the state's motion to deny pretrial release for the murder of Eliza Morales. The Judge Deedon granted our motion, and the defendant's pretrial release has been denied. He will remain in custody. His next court date is February 18, 2026, in courtroom 4004 in front of Judge Brian Thielander. The state has charged the defendant with 3 counts of first-degree murder, 1 count of intentional homicide of an unborn child, armed robbery, aggravated arson, and aggravated cruelty to animals. The state has alleged that on January 24, 2026, the defendant responded to an ad that was placed on Facebook Marketplace in regards to the purchase of a truck. The defendant purchased that truck from the victim and her husband. The victim and her husband had left their plates inadvertently on the truck, and arrangements were made for the defendant to return those plates on January 26th, 2026. And on the afternoon of January 26th, the defendant arrived at the victim's residence, the apartment building located at 2327 Ogden Avenue in Downers Grove, a multifamily apartment building. The victim met the defendant, and the defendant retrieved or gave the victim the license plates. The victim gave the defendant a screwdriver. He went out to the truck and came back to the victim and entered the victim's residence. While the defendant was in the victim's residence, an altercation ensued, and it resulted in the defendant stabbing the victim 70 times, causing the victim's death and the death of her 5-month-old unborn child. The defendant also stabbed the family dog. Fortunately, the dog was able to escape and survive. Before the defendant was done, he took available materials and started a fire inside the apartment. The defendant then fled in the truck, and at 6:09 p.m., the Downers Grove Fire Department received a fire alarm from the victim's building. They responded, and when they arrived on the scene, they located Eliza near the door. When she was taken into an ambulance, firefighters observed injuries and noticed that she was deceased. The Downers Grove Fire Department was successfully able to put the fire out. And in addition, the Downers Grove Police Department responded, and the response in this case from law enforcement was overwhelming. The Downers Grove Police Department quickly identified the suspect in this case, and at 11:42, they observed the pickup truck in the driveway on a house on Spruce Lane in Westmont. At that time, the defendant was taken into custody. Subsequently, a search warrant was executed at the Spruce Lane address, and located in the course of that search warrant were boots that it is believed the defendant was wearing at the time of the offense, and the police observed what appeared to be blood on those boots. Additional clothing was also located at that residence. The preliminary results of the fire investigation is that there are 2 points of origin, the first being the kitchen stove and the second being the front door. The fire is currently determined as incendiary and started with normal combustible materials. The police continued their investigation, which led them to 63rd and Main, which is an Ace Hardware store, and in the garbage at that location, the police located additional clothing that the defendant had been wearing at the time of the offense. In addition, they located Eliza's work lanyard and work IDs from Lurie Children's Hospital, where Eliza worked, as well as Eliza's husband's debit card. There were gloves that appeared to have been blood that were located, as well as pieces of Eliza's phone. The police also executed a search warrant on the subject truck, and apparent blood was located on the driver's door and steering wheel. The preliminary cause of death to Eliza are numerous stab wounds in intrauterine fetal demise due to multiple sharp force injuries. This was a horrific act of violence that the people have alleged in this case. I want to thank the Downers Grove Police Department for an incredible, thorough investigation that continues to this day. The Downers Grove Fire Department, DuPage County Merit, which is the emergency response investigative team, the DuPage County Fire Investigation Task Force, the Office of the Illinois State Fire Marshal, and also multiple fire protection districts that responded to this fire. Violent crimes like this can shake a community to its core. But the public should be reassured that in Downers Grove and in DuPage County, public safety remains the #1 priority. And the response in this case is a testament to the men and women in law enforcement in this county and how they respond to crimes like this. As I said earlier, the response was over.